Have you ever noticed how the world is quick to watch but slow to help? The moment you expose every detail of your struggle, you hand people the power to judge, to gossip, and sometimes even to use your pain against you. That is why this message is so important. Not every battle you fight should be broadcasted, because privacy is not weakness. It is wisdom. And if you stay with me until the end, you'll understand why your silence can become your greatest strength and how keeping your struggles private can change the way you rise. Privacy protects energy, and that truth cannot be overstated. Every struggle you go through demands a portion of your strength. Life's battles, whether financial, emotional, relational, or personal, already consume so much of your focus and resilience. When you take those same struggles and lay them out for everyone to see, you end up giving away the little energy you had left. Struggles are heavy, and every time you speak of them to the wrong audience, you hand someone else a piece of that weight to either misuse or magnify. What could have been channeled into healing or solving the problem becomes wasted in unnecessary explanations, justifications, and defenses. Privacy, on the other hand, keeps your energy intact, allowing you to direct it where it matters most toward growth, endurance, and overcoming. Not everyone who hears about your struggles has the heart to help. Some will judge you, others will gossip, and a few might even use your vulnerability against you. Sharing freely can create a false sense of relief in the moment because it feels good to get it out. But in the long run, it can drain you. Suddenly, you are no longer just dealing with your own pain, you are also dealing with how others perceive your pain. You are explaining yourself, defending your choices, or worrying about whispers behind your back. This double burden is what steals your strength. Privacy eliminates that unnecessary weight by keeping your struggles in the hands of those who truly matter, yourself, and perhaps a trusted few who genuinely want to see you rise. Energy is a limited resource, and during seasons of struggle, it is even more precious. You cannot afford to spend it trying to prove to people that you are okay, or worse, that your pain is real. Every time you retell your hardships to someone who cannot carry them, you water the weeds of exhaustion. But when you stay private, you save energy for solutions. You keep your focus on building instead of broadcasting. Privacy does not mean hiding in shame. It means protecting your strength until you are ready to stand tall again. There is also a hidden power in not giving everyone access to your pain. When you keep certain battles private, you deny negativity a foothold. You do not allow critics to analyze your weakness, nor enemies to take advantage of it. You keep control of your narrative. Privacy creates a shield around your energy, giving you the space to process your struggle in peace, without interference from voices that don't deserve a say. This shield allows healing to happen faster, because your mind is not cluttered with unnecessary noise. Think of your energy like water in a jar. Every person you tell about your struggle takes a sip. Some sip gently, but others drink deeply, leaving you empty before you realize it. Privacy is like placing a lid on that jar. It ensures that your energy is not wasted on the wrong people, but poured into the right places: prayer, reflection, planning, discipline, and perseverance. You will need every drop of energy to climb out of the pit you are in, and privacy helps you conserve it. When you practice privacy, you also strengthen your inner resolve. You learn to lean on yourself, to manage your emotions, and to sit with discomfort until it passes. This inner strength is what prepares you for greater challenges ahead. Those who give away their struggles to anyone willing to listen never develop this resilience. They become dependent on sympathy and attention, which can be addictive but never truly healing. Privacy breaks this cycle by teaching you to draw energy from within rather than from applause or pity. In the end, privacy is not about secrecy. It is about stewardship. It is about protecting your most valuable resource during hard times, your energy. The less you give away to unworthy ears, the more you have to invest in growth. The more you guard your battles, the stronger you emerge when victory comes. Privacy ensures that when you rise with dignity, not drained by the opinions of those who never fought alongside you. It is in this guarded silence that your energy multiplies, preparing you for the day when your success will speak louder than your struggle ever could. Silence builds resilience in ways that noise and complaints never can. When life places heavy burdens on your shoulders, you are faced with a choice: to cry out loudly for the world to hear, or to carry the weight quietly while you strengthen yourself from within. Complaints may bring temporary relief, but they weaken you in the long run because they shift your focus outward instead of inward. True resilience is developed in silence, in those hidden moments when no one knows what you are going through, yet you decide to keep going anyway. It is in the private battles, endured without applause or sympathy, that the deepest strength is formed. Resilience is not built in comfort, it is forged in struggle. But not every struggle should be turned into a public performance. When hardships come, the temptation is to talk about them endlessly, to let everyone know how difficult life has become, hoping that sympathy will lighten the burden. Yet, what sympathy gives, it also takes away. The more you rely on others to validate your struggle, the less you rely on yourself to overcome it. Complaints can make you feel understood for a moment, but they do not make you stronger. They keep you stuck in the same place, rehearsing your pain instead of rising above it. Silence, on the other hand, forces you to face the challenge directly, to process it without distraction, and to discover the power you didn't know you had. In silence, you learn patience. You learn how to wait without losing hope, how to suffer without becoming bitter, and how to trust that growth is happening even when no one can see it. Just as seeds break open in the soil where no one is watching, your character breaks open and grows in the unseen moments of quiet struggle. Complaints might bring attention, but they rob you of the dignity that comes from enduring with grace. Silence teaches you composure, and composure is one of the marks of resilience. Silence also deepens self-reliance. When you do not run to others with every struggle, you are forced to tap into your own strength. You discover that you can survive without constant reassurance. You realize that even in weakness, you can endure. This inner discovery builds confidence that no one can take away from you. People may leave, support may fade, but the resilience you built in silence remains. It becomes a shield for future storms, reminding you that if you overcame one hardship quietly, you can overcome the next. Moreover, silence gives space for reflection. Complaints scatter your focus outward, but silence allows you to look within and ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow through this? Reflection transforms pain into wisdom. Instead of being consumed by the noise of your situation, you gain clarity. And with clarity comes the ability to make better choices, to adjust your path, and to emerge stronger than before. Complaining blinds you, but silence opens your eyes to hidden lessons that noise will always drown out. Another way silence builds resilience is by teaching you endurance without recognition. When you endure quietly, you learn to keep moving even when no one notices, no one praises, and no one understands. That discipline prepares you for greater challenges ahead because you no longer depend on outside validation to keep going. You are fueled by inner determination, and that kind of strength cannot be broken easily. Silence is not weakness, it is a weapon. It protects your energy, preserves your dignity, and builds your inner core. While others waste time broadcasting their pain, you are quietly training yourself to endure. And when the storm passes, your silence will speak louder than their complaints because the strength you gained will be undeniable. Resilience is not built in noise, it is built in quiet endurance. And the person who learns to stay composed in silence will always emerge stronger than the one who sought attention in the midst of struggle. Action over attention is a principle that separates those who dream from those who achieve. In a world where everyone has something to say, words have become cheap. Social media is full of declarations, promises, and speeches, but very few of those words are backed up with consistent action. People may give you a moment of their attention when you speak, but they will give you lasting respect only when they see results. Respect is not earned by noise, it is earned by evidence. It is your results, not your explanations, that convince people of your strength, resilience, and determination. When you are going through struggles, the temptation is to talk about them, to gain sympathy or attention. It feels easier to announce your pain than to quietly work through it. But attention does not solve problems. It may soothe your ego, but it does not move your life forward. Talking about your dreams will not make them real. Only disciplined action will. Complaining about your struggles will not remove them. Only consistent effort will. The energy spent on seeking attention could be used to create the very results that would silence doubt and speak louder than any words ever could. People notice what you do more than what you say. You can tell the world that you are disciplined, but if your actions reveal procrastination, no one will believe your words. You can claim that you are strong, but if you break down at the first sign of difficulty, your words lose power. On the other hand, you don't have to tell anyone you are strong when your results show endurance. You don't have to announce your goals when your progress speaks for itself. Action does not need marketing, it creates its own credibility. Results are powerful because they are undeniable. Words can be argued, but outcomes cannot. If you say you are changing your life, people might doubt you. But if they see you transform your habits, grow in discipline, and achieve new milestones, their doubt is silenced. You no longer need to defend yourself because results are the strongest argument. A person who once doubted you may not like you, but they cannot ignore your progress. That is the authority of action. It commands respect whether or not people agree with you. Choosing action over attention also protects your focus. Seeking attention divides your energy. It shifts your purpose from growth to performance, from building results to maintaining an image. You start living to impress people instead of to improve yourself. But when you prioritize action, your focus stays on the work, the process, and the progress. You no longer care who is watching or applauding because your drive comes from within. Ironically, this is what draws the greatest respect. When people see you working diligently, without demanding recognition, they are compelled to admire you. This principle also applies to struggles. When you are facing hardship, people may listen to your complaints, but only briefly. Over time, their sympathy fades, and your words start to sound repetitive. But if instead of talking, you quietly work, endure, and overcome, your eventual victory inspires them far more than your words ever could. No one is remembered for what they complained about. They are remembered for what they conquered. Action over attention builds credibility with yourself as well. Every time you follow through, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. Words without action erode self-trust, but action builds it. Over time, this inner credibility becomes the foundation of confidence. You stop needing applause because your results affirm your worth. That is the deepest respect you can ever earn. The respect you give yourself by living in alignment with your words. People may listen to your words, but they respect your results. They might applaud what you say for a moment, but they will follow what you do for a lifetime. Attention is fleeting, but action leaves a legacy. So stop announcing every dream, stop broadcasting every struggle, and stop craving approval for every step. Put your energy into consistent action and let your results do the talking. In the silence of your work, respect will grow louder than any words could ever achieve. Choose confidence wisely, because not everyone deserves access to your battles. Trust is not something that should be given freely to every listening ear. It must be earned through loyalty, integrity, and proven character. When you open your heart and expose your struggles, you're placing a piece of yourself in someone else's hands. If those hands are careless, judgmental, or untrustworthy, they can do more damage than the struggle itself. Choosing the wrong confidence can magnify your pain, while choosing the right ones can lighten your load and guide you towards strength. Many people fall into the trap of oversharing. They assume that everyone who listens has their best interest at heart, but the reality is different. Some people listen not to support you, but to collect information. They turn your vulnerability into gossip, using your private struggles as stories for their entertainment or as weapons against you. Others may pretend to sympathize but carry silent envy, secretly glad to see you struggling. And some are simply incapable of carrying the weight you hand them. They lack the wisdom, maturity, or compassion to respond in a way that strengthens you. This is why guarding your battles is essential. Not every voice is safe, and not every ear deserves your truth. Trust must be tested before it is given. A confident proves themselves not by grand gestures, but by consistency. Pay attention to how someone speaks about others. If they gossip freely about other people's private matters, they will likely gossip about yours as well. Notice how they respond when you succeed. If they cannot celebrate your victories, they may not handle your struggles with sincerity. Trust is earned in small ways through reliability, discretion, and a history of standing by you. True confidence are rare, but their value is immeasurable because they create a safe space for your vulnerability. Choosing wisely also means understanding that you don't need a large circle to share your struggles. Sometimes one or two trusted people are enough. Quality is always more important than quantity when it comes to trust. A few loyal confidants who listen without judgment, guide without control, and support without conditions are far better than dozens of people who offer shallow sympathy. Protecting your heart means being selective, even if it feels lonely at times. It is better to struggle in silence than expose your pain to those who will misuse it. The right confidants are those who strengthen you in your weakness. They don't simply agree with your frustrations, but challenge you to rise above them. They don't pity you in a way that keeps you stuck, but encourage you in a way that pushes you forward. They remind you of your strength when you've forgotten it and hold you accountable to the values you want to live by. Their presence is not draining, but refreshing. You leave their company feeling lighter, not heavier. These are the people worthy of your trust, and they are the ones who deserve access to your private battles. Being selective with your confidence is not about pride, it is about protection. Your struggles are sacred, they are shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for growth. Sharing them recklessly exposes them to contamination. But sharing them wisely allows others to water your growth instead of poisoning it. Protecting your battles ensures that the lessons you are learning remain clear, and that your healing is not interrupted by careless voices. At the end of the day, not everyone deserves to know your story. Some people are characters in your journey, but only a few are trusted enough to read the deeper chapters. Choosing confidence wisely is about valuing yourself, respecting your struggles, and refusing to let just anyone hold the keys to your vulnerability. Trust must be earned, and when you find those who have proven worthy, you will know that your battles are safe in their hands. And with that safety, you gain the strength to keep moving forward. Patience and composure yield results because growth is rarely immediate, and success is almost never instant. Too many people give up on themselves because they cannot see immediate progress. They want transformation to be visible overnight, forgetting that the most important changes happen quietly beneath the surface long before they are revealed to the world. Just as a seed spends time hidden in the soil before breaking through as a plant, your growth develops in silence, away from attention, before it manifests as visible success. This is why patience is essential. You must allow time for the process to work, and composure is equally vital. You must remain steady, calm, and disciplined even when nothing appears to be happening. Patience is the art of trusting the process. It is resisting the urge to rush force or demand quick results. Growth requires time because lasting change is built layer by layer. Think about a person who plants a tree. For weeks, even months, there may be no sign of growth above the ground. To an impatient eye, it looks like nothing is happening. But in reality, the roots are spreading deep into the soil, establishing the foundation that will one day support branches, fruit, and shade. Without patience, the planter might abandon the tree too soon, never realizing that the most critical work was happening out of sight. In the same way, your life often requires hidden seasons where your roots are being developed. Impatience will only rob you of the harvest that was on its way. Composure is what sustains patience. It is easy to become frustrated, anxious, or bitter when you do not see results immediately. But composure teaches you to remain calm under pressure, to stay focused without letting emotions dictate your decisions. It is composure that keeps you from quitting when doors don't open right away or when progress feels painfully slow. In silence, composure says, keep going. Trust the process. Growth is happening even if you cannot see it yet. That steadiness not only preserves your energy, but also builds resilience. It strengthens you to endure difficulties without breaking down. The combination of patience and composure creates power. Patience teaches you to wait with expectation, while composure ensures that you wait with dignity. Together, they create an inner posture that attracts results. Opportunities often come when you least expect them, but only to those who have remained steady long enough to be ready when the door opens. Impatience, on the other hand, leads to rushed decisions and wasted energy. People who lack composure panic in silence and sabotage their own growth. But those who endure with grace discover that the silence was never empty. It was preparation. Growth in silence is often misunderstood by others. People may look at you and assume nothing is happening. They may judge your lack of visible success as failure, but patience allows you to ignore their voices and focus on your journey. Composure keeps you from needing to explain yourself or prove your progress. You don't need to broadcast your struggle or force others to see your process. In time, your results will speak for themselves. Silence has a way of protecting you until the right moment for your success to be revealed. It is in the unseen seasons that your character is built. Patience develops endurance. Composure builds inner strength, and together they prepare you for greater responsibilities. If success came too quickly, without this preparation, it would collapse under pressure. The quiet seasons are not punishment, they are training. They are shaping you into someone capable of carrying the weight of your future. Patience and composure guarantee results because they allow the process of growth to complete its work. The silence of today is not the end of your story. It is the soil in which your tomorrow is taking root. Learn to value the unseen seasons, stay composed when nothing seems to be moving, and trust that growth is happening within you. When the time is right, your success will emerge, and the world will see what patience and composure have been building all along. Let outcomes speak louder than pain, because nothing you say about your struggle will ever carry as much weight as the evidence of your victory. Pain has a voice, and when you go through hardship, it tempts you to announce every detail, to explain, to complain, to seek validation from others who might sympathize. But explanations are fragile. They can be misunderstood, dismissed, or even ignored. Outcomes, on the other hand, are undeniable. They tell a story so clear that no one can argue with it. When you succeed, when you overcome, when you rise despite the odds, your results become louder than your suffering ever was. Pain can easily make you reactive. You want people to know what you are facing. You want them to understand how much you carry. And yes, talking about pain can bring temporary relief, but in the long run, it does not change anything. Words about pain rarely shift circumstances. They only echo what already exists. But when you channel that same energy into perseverance, into discipline, into consistent action, you create results that stand as proof of your strength. The people who once doubted you, judged you, or overlooked you may not want to admit it, but your victory leaves them no choice but to acknowledge what you accomplished. This is the power of letting outcomes speak. Pain tells people what you are going through. Outcomes show them what you overcame. One demands attention, the other commands respect. Pain can earn you sympathy, but outcomes earn you admiration. Sympathy fades quickly, but admiration lasts because it is rooted in evidence. People may forget the details of your struggle, but they will remember the success that followed. They may not recall every explanation you gave, but they will not forget the results they saw with their own eyes. Letting outcomes speak louder than pain also preserves your energy. Every time you explain your struggles, you spend energy defending yourself. Every time you complain, you scatter focus outward, but when you keep moving forward, quietly enduring and working in silence, you conserve that energy for growth. You pour it into actions that create change rather than into words that only describe the problem. Eventually, the work you did in silence produces results that speak for you. You no longer need to explain your resilience because your life becomes the evidence of it. Think about the people who inspire you most. They are not the ones who complain the loudest about what they went through. They are the ones who let their success reveal the battles they endured. Their outcomes became the loudest part of their story. You may not know every detail of their pain, but you respect the strength of their victory. That is what makes their story powerful. Your life can carry that same power when you let your results become your response. This principle is also a form of protection. Not everyone deserves to know your pain. Some will judge you, others will dismiss you, and a few may even rejoice in your struggles. But outcomes silence all of them. When you win, when you succeed despite silence, your victory speaks in a language that even your critics cannot deny. They may not like you, but they cannot argue with what you have achieved. Outcomes are unshakable evidence, while pain is easily twisted in the hands of others. Letting outcomes speak louder than pain is about dignity. It is choosing not to waste your life proving your struggle, but to spend it building your strength. It is refusing to be defined by what hurt you, and instead being defined by what you overcame. Your victories will tell a story stronger than your explanations ever could. They will carry a message of resilience that echoes far longer than words of pain. So endure in silence, build with patience, and when the time is right, let your life itself become the testimony. Results will always shout louder than suffering, and your outcomes will forever tell the truth of who you are. The message is clear: not every battle is meant to be shared, and not every struggle deserves an audience. Privacy protects your energy, silence builds resilience, and action commands more respect than attention ever could. By choosing your confidence wisely, you guard your heart from judgment and betrayal. Through patience and composure, you allow growth to happen in silence until the time is right. And when that time comes, your outcomes will tell the story that no words ever could. The world does not need to hear how much you've suffered. It needs to see how far you've risen. Your pain does not define you, your perseverance does. Keep your struggles private, endure with dignity, and let your victories speak on your behalf. Because in the end, success is the loudest voice you will ever have, and it will echo longer and stronger than any explanation of your pain,